NFL coaches at the combine bitching and moaning about the tush push. Here, do you need a little Kleenex, a little tissue for you guys? They run it higher and better than us. But your belly aching. Thought NFL head coach is supposed to be tough. I made the point yesterday. I was thinking about what other things that should have been banned. Okay, Kareem Skyhook. I think I got as far as that. The other thing that came to mind was Mariano Rivera's slider. That would have been that. That would have been or splitter. That would have been that should have been banned. I could have gone. I could have gone my entire life without seeing Ryan Howard swing over that thing. But whatever. Just dominant things that one team does well, one player does well. That ban it. I talked about changing the dimensions of a basketball court for Will Chamberlain and George Mikan, and lowering the mound for Bob Gibson and all that. Lowering the mound for Bob Gibson. It's just stupid. One team does it really well. Everybody else sucks at it. Maybe one team's mediocre, with the exception of the AFC Championship game with the Bills. I didn't know that the Bills did it as often enough to be included with the Eagles in the numbers I gave you guys yesterday. But I listened to another coach talk about Green Bay acknowledged that it was submitted by them, the complaint, but wouldn't go into detail about it. Oh, yeah, I really don't know much about it, but, it's just something that's going on. And it's just how about you be better at it? And how about you be better at stopping it? And how about this one? Because I did some numbers yesterday. I was really curious about this. And I was spurred not by the tush push, but I was spurred to do this by Nick Sirianni getting asked a question yesterday about Saquon Barkley and how many touches Saquon Barkley had. So I wasn't sure how many touches he had. So Saquon Barkley had 482 touches last regular season and this postseason combined. So all of 2020, 2024, 2025, Saquon Barkley had 482 touches. Holy Stromboli. 345 carries, 345 carries in the regular season, 91 carries in the postseason, 33 receptions in the regular season, 13 receptions in the playoffs. All right. He did all that for 2,857 yards, Saquon Barkley. Oh, and 20 touchdowns. That's pretty good as well. He averaged just under 6 yards per touch. That's pretty good. So it got me thinking, again, back to the tush push. Because if you just give the ball to Saquon Barkley, whether it's through the air, rare occurrence, 33 catches, or it's on the ground, predominantly 345 just in the regular season alone, then that means you get 6 yards. Just Saquon touches the football, 6 yards. All right? So then you got the tush push, which is 1 yard, maybe 2. I think the average is actually 2.5 yards per tush push. Brotherly shove, quarterback sneak, whatever. That means what? You're leaving 2 yards for the offense to get? And any other play? So that means first down, you give the ball to Barkley. That's 6 yards. You get 2 yards. Then all of a sudden you just run a tush push, 2.5 yards, first down. That's how one of my favorite things Nick Sirianni has ever said as a head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles is that the Eagles with the tush push don't face a 1st and 10. They only face a 1st and 9. There are no 1st and 10s. And I thought that was baller. And it really started to piss me off with the emergence of a mystery team who I told you yesterday I thought would be the Cowboys. It was not. It was the Green Bay Packers that put out the complaint saying, all right, we're going to challenge this at the owners' meetings next month. Right? They put it out there. Then they talked about it yesterday during the little conferences, the press conferences they have at the Combine there in Indianapolis. And then Raheem Morris was asked about it, and I think it was Dave Zangaro of NBC Sports Philadelphia, and Raheem Morris becomes the latest coach to say, yeah, it should have been banned. It should have been banned 3 years ago. He said in no other play that they have in their sport can you just get behind somebody and push them. And I'm like, I guess you're not counting pushing a pile? Nick Sirianni did respond to the tush push criticism, and here's what he had to say.
I think I've seen some of the stuff like, well, about what that it's an automatic play, or that it's not we work really, I almost feel a little insulted because we work so hard at that play. The amount of things that we've looked into how to coach that play, the fundamentals, there's 1,000 plays out there, but it comes down to how you teach the fundamentals and then how the players go through and do with the fundamentals. I can't tell you how many times we practice the snap, we practice the play, because it's not a play that it's easy to practice. There's different ways we figured out how to practice it. The complements that come off of it that can create explosive plays. Again, we saw it in big time games this year, and the fact that it's an automatic thing, that we work really, really hard, and our guys are talented at this play, and so it's a little insulting to say it's just we're good at it, so it's automatic. We work really hard at it.
I've said many times that I really like when Nick Sirianni was talking about how it's the 1st and 9. I love that. I love that Nick Sirianni said that was baller. What Nick Sirianni said yesterday about it, I didn't like it. He shouldn't feel insulted. He should feel complimented. Roger Goodell is already on record saying that the tush push probably isn't going anywhere. Said that actually on they call it late night with Jason Kelsey, right? It's probably not going anywhere. All right, let's hope that's the case. But you shouldn't be insulted, Nick. You should be complimented, because nobody else has cracked the code quite like the Philadelphia Eagles. And yeah, sure, you could absolutely talk about all the coaching points and all the details that you pay attention to and all the work that you just highlighted there. You should be proud of that. That's a lot of it. The other of it is just sheer talent. A dominant offensive line and a quarterback that is a freakish athlete. 600 pounds, squatting it like it's nothing. Yeah, I'm sure that helps with the tush push. Having players know exactly where to be behind him to give him that little nudge. That's also that's all. That's all should be a compliment. That all should be a compliment. It's not an insult at all. How dare you? We say it's an automatic play. You see other people do it? No. It's automatic for you. And because nobody else pays attention to the proper amount of detail, and nobody else has the talent that you guys have, that's why everybody else wants to ban it. Because you've cracked the code, Philadelphia Eagles. Everybody else just left fumbling it away. I saw the highlight. I think it was the Minnesota Vikings talking about how they should just have a big guy line up. Years ago when Nick Sirianni was with the Colts, the big guy line up under center and just another big guy behind him and just push him forward. Yeah, go, you try that. The Philadelphia Eagles actually did it, but they did it with their quarterback and they had success. The other part of it is the Eagles also had success with Kenny Pickett doing it. So that's where I'll really credit coaching. Rest of the league saying ban it. By the way, Raheem Morris, head coach of the of the Atlanta Falcons, when he was asked yesterday about it by Dave Zagaro.
So this should have been illegal 3 years ago. No, the tush push play, I was never been a big fan. There's just no other play in our game where you can absolutely get behind somebody and push them, pull them off, do anything to be able to use it. I never really understood it and why that was legal. So I'm definitely going to be one of those guys voting against that.
Yeah, fine. You and the Green Bay Packers and probably the Dallas Cowboys, you guys could vote against it, and then everyone else would be like, yeah, no, they just know how to do it. We don't. One of the things I really appreciated from Nick Sirianni yesterday also is when he was addressing the media, he talked about how he watches every, I think he said 1st and goal situation. And he's like, yeah, a lot of people just don't come up with points. They'll go for it on 4th down instead of kicking a field goal, and they don't come up with points. The Eagles get in a 1st and goal from the 1, the 2, the 3, whatever, and I just think touchdown. I remember the years of being like, oh, can Donovan throw a fade route here in the end zone? Oh, Donovan doesn't like throwing the fade route here. Like, I remember that's a thing in many NFL cities where they talk about, oh, fade route, like it's an automatic play. It's not. It's very, very difficult play to make. The sprint out that Nick Foles was such a fan of, the rare occasion that we saw it, that worked. He threw his first career touchdown, game-winning touchdown pass against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I remember, the game in Tampa, where Nick Foles called that sprint out. I think it was another sprint out in the playoffs against the Bears in the quadruple doink game that they ran at the goal line to Golden Tate, if I'm not mistaken. Like, there are things that the Eagles have tried in the red zone that have worked really well. And then other things have just been throwing things against the fan and it doesn't work. And they're a bad red zone team. They get there. They got to settle for the field goal. They go for it. They don't get it. Well, now you have something with this Philadelphia Eagles team that is a dominant play, and the NFL wants to take it away. Learn how to stop it, folks. Because I will say, I do not believe that the tush push is going anywhere. I don't believe the brotherly shove is going anywhere. I don't believe the quarterback sneak is going anywhere. And I don't believe whatever Jalen calls it, which we've never learned what he calls it, whatever he calls it, it ain't going away either. So just kind of learn to deal with it. Learn to deal with it. Rest of the NFL, learn to deal with it. By the way, welcome to the Farzy Show. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show, presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. It's lovely to have you along for the ride, as per usual. Apologize again for the late start time. Dealer time seems to be straight up time these days. And Miss Guzzi. We got a lot from Howie Roseman talking about signing Zach Bond. We got a lot from Howie Roseman. I love when Howie Roseman says he's never going to lie to the Philadelphia Eagles fan base. I appreciate that. Also, I have a theory. Howie Roseman, he must have been on some performance enhancing drugs or something. I don't know, man. That some neosporin that cured his ailing head of a flying beer can that got him pretty good a couple weeks ago. That's some quick healing. Not even a blemish. I don't know if he was wearing makeup or whatever. I would doubt it, but he looks great. Howie Roseman. He did talk about the overall philosophy the Eagles have had when he was asked about it when it comes to signing a linebacker. I'll say this. The Eagles came around on signing a running back, and that worked out pretty damn well. Like a really good running back in Saquon Barkley. That worked out extremely well. Historic season, Super Bowl championship. I rattled off the numbers for you for all the touches that he had. So, yeah, that's pretty good. And then he also talked about how they can evolve when it comes to the idea of signing a linebacker. I don't think Zach Bond is going anywhere. I think there is mutual interest, when it comes to signing Zach Bond between the Eagles and Zach Bond. And Howie Roseman, where there's mutual interest, thanks to his wizardry, will figure out a way for this to happen. As I always tell people, the cap went up for the Eagles, $255 million. That's a nice to see. For that to happen, and the Eagles also most likely going to be restructuring a contract or two, I would say that Zach Bond's going to be coming back. And Howie all but said that yesterday when he was addressing the media. We'll let you hear from him. Also, this is the part where he talks about he's not going to lie to the Philadelphia Eagles fan base, where he's always going to be honest with them and all that. Myles Garrett talks about not Myles Garrett particularly, but if there's anyone that can help the Eagles win football games or improve, Howie Roseman is going to leave no stone left unturned. So there you go. He talks about the parade. Sirianni does talk about the Patullo promotion, I should say. There is one word that I remember talking about with you guys 2 weeks ago, and that was the word continuity. And it wasn't a word that I brought up. It was a word that Jalen Hurts brought up, which I found interesting because he talked about how important continuity is when it comes to the coaching staff. Excuse me. And how much, that's something that he would like to see kept together. But then when he's asked point blank of a endorsement, more or less, for Kevin Patullo, he kind of shies away from that. He got asked 3 questions about the offensive coordinator position 2 weeks ago at the joyous occasion that was them cleaning out their locker rooms, unlike the depressing stage that usually is at the end of a season. And he got asked 3 questions about it. On the 3rd question, he said, let's talk about something else. He answered 2 questions. The 3rd, he opted, no thanks. One of the reasons being, he said it was out of his jurisdiction to talk about a new offensive coordinator. Well, he was asked point blank what he learned from Kellen Moore, and what he wants to see in the next offensive coordinator. And he used the word continuity. Yesterday, Nick Sirianni talked about the continuity that would come with bringing Kevin Patullo along. The only question I didn't hear asked that I really wanted asked was, why and this is where I went with you guys on Monday when I reacted to all the things that happened in the week off. The question was, you had an opportunity to elevate Kevin Patullo 2 years ago, and instead you elevated Brian Johnson. You had the opportunity to elevate your passing game coordinator, but instead you elevated your quarterback's coach. Now, I think we could easily lay out the reasons why that would happen. Oh, Jalen Hurts wanted Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson and Jalen Hurts have a long history together. There go. It's going to be Brian Johnson being hired or elevated. Kevin Patullo also got a promotion, if you remember, and no, it was not offensive coordinator, but it was associate head coach. Now, some people might look at that and be like, oh, you're a head coach's mascot? Like, what are you? What does that mean? Let's not forget that Andy Reid was a quarterback's coach for I believe, an already 2-time MVP in Brett Favre. After being a tight ends coach, I believe it was. And he got hired as the Philadelphia Eagles head coach, not because he was a quarterback coach, but because he was an assistant head coach to Mike Holmgren. That's why. And that's how he even got head coaching interviews in the NFL. With the Eagles, at least. So that means something around the league. That little title that we might just brush aside. What does that even mean? Does he fill the coach's coffee? What's going on here? No, he's got apparently a real responsibility. And maybe that was just part of the maturation process of Kevin Patullo. Yeah, I don't just want you to have the passing game capabilities, but I also want you to be right here on my hip. And now he's getting the elevation to coordinator. Well, when Jalen Hurts was asked about continuity, when he was asked about Kevin Patullo and asked about the offensive coordinator position, this is what Jalen Hurts told the media 2 weeks ago.
It's a talented team, and we've never shied away from these type of adjustments. However, how important continuity is to me. And I think the most important thing when you move forward is about just trying to build that chemistry. And I think for us as an offense, I think the more assertive I became throughout the year, the more in sync, the more complementary, the more rhythm we had. And so there's been a lot of changes, a lot of different things, and I know every coordinator has their own approach and their own way of seeing it, but it's just about meshing that. And I think in fullness, if there was a chance to have continuity, I think there could be, and I don't know if we ever know, but yeah.
Yeah, well, it was the loss for words after that. And then the follow-up question was, well, what do you think about Kevin Patullo? And he's like, I've learned that's out of my jurisdiction. But he would bring continuity, that's for sure, in a new role. At least I know him. At least he knows what we like to do. The other thing that I found interesting in all that is that Jalen Hurts took on a lot of the responsibility. Jalen Hurts now, and I don't just mean Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl winning quarterback and MVP, but, he is. Because just in case you forgot for a second, in case the haters still are out there, and I know they are. Still makes me laugh every time. Jalen Hurts has gotten a lot better at the mental aspect of the game. Reading the defense, pre-snap reads have been phenomenal. Checking the play at the line of scrimmage, not just to hand it off to Saquon Barkley, but Dallas Goedert, 3rd and 7, going against the Baltimore Ravens. Dallas Goedert, I think it was a 3rd and 8 against the New Orleans Saints. A.J. Brown down the sideline, go routes. Jalen Hurts surveying what the defense, reading the defense, and then exploiting the weakness. That's pretty good. We didn't see a lot of that in the early goings of Jalen Hurts' career. Could he have improved? Oh my goodness. So Jalen Hurts has taken a lot of responsibility on himself. Jason Kelce not being the Eagles center this year cannot be talked about enough when you talk about the wisdom that he had in being responsible for checking at the line of scrimmage, communicating with his quarterback, making sure they were on the same page. Instead, and this was my concern, I said last year going into it, I know Cam Jurgens can run out there and physically do what Jason Kelce did. It was the other aspect of it. Will he be able to have good communication with his quarterback? Will they be on the same page? Not a problem. Not a problem. Jalen Hurts took on a lot more of that responsibility. Hey, look, I'm sure Kellen Moore put things in a great spot for Jalen Hurts. I'm sure all that worked well together. But this is not Jalen Hurts 2 years ago trusting a first-time offensive coordinator in Brian Johnson and then trying to take that to the next level. This is Jalen Hurts after a full year or 2 full years with Shane Steichen, this hiccup that the Eagles unfortunately had with Brian Johnson, and then coming in with Kellen Moore and taking a huge step forward and having to take on more responsibility with Jason Kelce not being there. So that version, and that little Super Bowl championship that he won, that was pretty cool too. That version of Jalen Hurts is now taking on a new offensive coordinator. Yeah, sure, again. And it's 11 different offensive coordinators, play callers he's had now in the last 7 years or whatever. Yeah, that's a lot. 6 years, that's a lot. But this version of Jalen Hurts, I feel, is more ready for that challenge than ever. Continuity is certainly going to be a good thing because Kevin Patullo will obviously know what Jalen Hurts has been doing as a quarterback, what he likes to do, what this offense in general likes to do. So continuity, I understand, was very important. When it comes to Nick Sirianni talking about the elevation of Kevin Patullo, he mentioned they talked to a lot of candidates. It's news to me. This all happened rather fast. Were you interviewing guys on the parade floats? Like, what was going on? But anyway, here he is on the importance of continuity and Kevin Patullo getting elevated.
I picked Kevin out of the people that we interviewed because thought he was the best man for the job, first and foremost. And also, I think that when you look at good organizations, in college football, professional football, continuity is very, very important. And we were able to have a guy in-house that is so ready to do the job that he's going to be asked to do. And we were able to keep continuity for Jalen. We're able to keep continuity for the receivers, AJ and Devontae, the offensive line, the offensive staff. There's a lot to that. And so, and again, as I study great teams and great organizations, when they have guys that they know they can promote from within that are ready to do the job, they do that. And, Kevin is so ready to do that.
Absolutely. I like the hire. There's part of me that wants to say, this isn't a time to groom new coaches. This is a time to cash in the chips. When a team like this is so ready to win and keep winning, you shouldn't be. This isn't the type of team where you have training on the job. There's part of me that wants to go that direction. But then the other part is Jalen's got this. And as much as I try to really break that down, and it's a thought I had at the hire, it's a thought I still have, and say, well, is that just rose-colored glasses? Is that Disney-colored glasses? Is that just eternal optimism? Is that fanboyish? Because it feels like it's fanboyish to say it. Let me really think about it. And I'm like, no, that's it. I feel fine. That's exactly how I feel. Like, going back after the press conferences yesterday, I went back and I listened to Jalen Hurts again at his locker, and I just played the clip of him talking about Kevin Patullo and the new offensive coordinator, whoever it's going to be, and what he'd like to see. And what I got out of it was just to be reminded of how locked in this dude is and how focused he is. And I remember talking to people after the Super Bowl loss. And I think this was even before the news came out. Yeah, because it was in the offseason. This is before the news came out of Jalen Hurts' lock screen or his background on his phone was him walking off the field in Arizona with the Chiefs confetti colors, sticking to his head and all that stuff. Like, he was going to get paid. Jalen Hurts was going to get paid. He got paid. He is being pulled in a lot of different directions these are not excuses, by the way, but it was something, according to some people that I talked to, that he could have done without of the banquet tour, if you will, even after not winning a Super Bowl. But there was some business to be handled. He handled that business, got back to the business, and 2 years later won a Super Bowl. After that Super Bowl, hearing him talk about, losing the Super Bowl doesn't compare to the joy of winning the Super Bowl. In other words, the sting of losing doesn't match the joy of winning. We asked that of all athletes that come through Philadelphia. Any team, let's say you're not even, whatever team you're a fan of. Any team, any player, we want them to hate losing more than they love winning. Because that ultimately shows that there's always going to be a drive. And Jalen Hurts waiting till the clock hits 0 to even like hug Saquon Barkley. Like that's a guy. Him talking about how the first loss changed his soul. Oh my God. Him talking about how he won a Super Bowl, and because he had to go win a Super Bowl, he's now behind other quarterbacks that are going to try to win a Super Bowl next year. That is psycho stuff. But that's my psycho. That's a psycho I want quarterbacking my team. Literally after the game, at the locker room clean out, he's talking about how, I feel behind. Because he was busy winning a Super Bowl. He didn't have. Okay. Whatever keeps that little mouse on the wheel in your head spinning in motivation, whatever keeps that motor going, whatever. His friend, Michael Jordan, and I guess colleague, boss, I don't know, Michael Jordan texting him after the NFC Championship game. Hey, congrats, all that. Michael Jordan would make up stuff. That guy told me good game after he scored 35 on us. Good game. I'm going to kick his ass next time. Okay, whatever you need to do. Oh, man, I wish I wasn't so behind. What was I doing? Was I stuck in traffic? No, I wasn't stuck in traffic. Did I oversleep? I didn't oversleep. What did I do that I'm so behind? Oh, I was winning a Super Bowl. That's why I was so behind. That's psycho stuff, but that's my psycho. Anyway. All right. Anyway, so yeah, I love Jalen Hurts a little bit. Love the honesty from Nick Sirianni, both in the Tush Push. I'd love to get a list of names of other candidates that is all keep it in-house. Oh, there was one thing before I move on to Howie Roseman, what he had to say. There was one thing from yesterday. Is it Randall Parks? Parks Randall? Who's the new Eagles passing game coordinator? Parks Eagles coach. I'm blanking. Parks Frazier. So he got mentioned yesterday. He was with the Dolphins as an offensive assistant last year. He was with the Panthers as a passing game coordinator in 2023. Has a relationship with Frank Reich. Was with the Colts from 2018 to 2022. So he's got a history, Nick Sirianni, Frank Reich. That I knew. But here's what I didn't know. So Parks Frazier, and this is just wild. Parks Frazier, I was on Wikipedia. Parks Frazier's house was damaged when he was with Indianapolis in 2019 with 77 rounds of bullets. He wasn't home at the time. His family wasn't home at the time. No residents were home. No injuries were reported. So I clicked on the story, and now it's not coming up. Hold on. No. Let me tell you. You're going to come up. No, this is the story I read. Bleacher Report put this out. December 7th, 2021. They put the story out there. Basically, it was, I don't know if gang-related was the proper way to say it, but people that shot up the Parks Frazier's house got the wrong house. Apparently, a couple cars pulled up to the house, got out, started shooting, and then got in the cars and left. And there was, I think, an arrest or two after that in the shooting. That is bonkers. I mean, thank God he wasn't home. Thank God nobody was hurt. But anyway, that's your new passing game coordinator. That's get home and you're like, what the hell? So I found that little tidbit. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. That's good. But anyway, that's your new passing game coordinator. As far as Howie Roseman yesterday. Myles Garrett, Zach Bond, the parade. I was encouraged by what I heard about Howie Roseman when he talked about specifically Zach Bond. And I think it was Elliott Shore-Parks that asked the question. But here is Howie Roseman on his philosophy when it comes to bringing Bond back.
Everything really is player dependent. You know, when we talk about situations, it depends on the quality of play of the player, the person that we're talking about. And so you don't want to make any exceptions. Obviously, you have to have a vision of how you want your team to look. In the salary cap era, you have a certain number of resources that you can allocate, whether it's money or draft picks. And so whenever you do something, you're taking it from somewhere else. I mean, there's no way at the stage we are with our team that we can do something major without it coming from somewhere else. So we have to make all those decisions. But I think to kind of put us in a box and say, hey, we're not going to play, and I'm not saying that you're saying that we're not going to pay because historically we haven't done that. I mean, part of what we do is evolve and look at things and see how things are affecting our team, how things are affecting the league, and seeing our place in that.
Here's what I got out of it. Zach Bond's the number one priority. Not Darius Slay, not Josh Sweat, not Mekhi Becton. Zach Bond's the number one priority. I find it very hard to believe that the Eagles would discover this kind of talent, that Vic Fangio would discover how to use this kind of talent the best to maximize his true potential, that they would grow all that here in Philadelphia and let him go somewhere else. This isn't Alex Singleton, friend of the show. This isn't TJ Edwards. This is a guy that's a defensive player of the year candidate. And this is a defensive coordinator that they've put a ton of trust in. I don't think he's going anywhere. Now, to me, he should be, and I believe he is, off-season priority number one. By the way, Lou Nichols got re-signed, so I guess he was running back. Lou Nichols got re-signed, so I guess he was priority number one. No, he was just the easiest deal to work out, I'm sure. But listening to Howie Roseman yesterday, two things that jumped out at me. One was you can't do one thing without taking from something else. Yes, that's the salary cap. I get that. So that could mean Josh Sweat's not here, Mekhi Becton's not here. Both those guys aren't here, but Zach Bond is here. He's the priority. The other thing I heard was evolve. In other words, we can change. If you have somebody, regardless of position, that is such a difference maker, as Saquon Barkley has been, offensively speaking, as Zach Bond was this year, then you bring that guy back. You keep him in Eagles green. You keep him in South Philly as long as humanly possible, regardless of position. And I think Zach Bond is the one that's going to break the mold when it comes to when it comes to linebackers, as maybe Saquon Barkley had done when it comes to running backs. So when I hear evolve, when I hear having to take from one spot to add to another, and then the other, when it's player dependent, that would be, if I had to name a third thing, that'd be the third thing. So in other words, this is all case by case basis. This isn't any longer the philosophy of the Eagles just put a number on every position, and anyone that goes over that number with a dollar sign next to it, off with you. You are done. Your time in Philadelphia is over. No, doesn't happen. Not anymore. If we think we could get a historic season out of a running back, Saquon Barkley's available? Oh, my God. Come on down. Oh, this special team / edge rusher, off-ball linebacker, it could come to Philadelphia from New Orleans after having 34 career tackles defensively. Come on. Let's see what you got. Defensive player of the year candidate. It's insane. I still, and whenever I see or read anything about Zach Bond or listen to Howie talk about Zach Bond, whatever, I still think about him signing his contract and going over the part where it had like Pro Bowl incentives. And he just laughed. He was like, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. Anyway, here's my name. It's absolutely incredible. So I think what I get out of that, Zach Bond's back. I don't expect. Well, here's one thing. If I had to say who's back and who's not, my guess is somewhat educated guess. Zach Bond is back. Mekhi Becton's back. Josh Sweat's gone. What I truly believe will happen, though, is Zach Bond is back and Becton's gone and Josh Sweat's gone. But if I had to name the priorities, Bond, large gap, Mekhi Becton, Josh Sweat. That's the way I'd put it. So I thought it was encouraging what I heard yesterday, to say the least, from Howie Roseman about possibly bringing back Zach Bond. Look, I don't think this is happening. And I know a lot of people say, oh, just give them first-round picks. Give the Browns first-round picks for Myles Garrett. Give them 3 first-round picks. They're going to be, 30, 31, 32 over the next 3 years anyway? Maybe 32 the next 3 years anyway? That's like a second-round pick. Yeah, but it's not a second-round pick. It's a first-round pick. It's still a better pick. I don't as easily part with those as maybe some other people do. But now, that being said, you tell me Myles Garrett's playing defense for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's coming around the edge for the Philadelphia Eagles next year. I feel pretty good about that. I feel pretty damn good about that. However, I don't think it's happening. Now, Howie Roseman being Howie Roseman addressed that situation like this yesterday.
I'm not going to talk about anyone under contract with another team. I think that, one thing that I can promise our fans is that there will not be a player that's available that we won't study, that we won't look at and see if it can help the team. Sometimes those opportunities work and you're able to do that, and sometimes they don't.
Sometimes they don't. Be ready for the part where they don't. Be ready for that part. All right, fair enough. But I love what he said. One thing I can promise the Philadelphia Eagles fan base, no stone left unturned. Okay, cool. Thank you. By the way, I found this story here on Parks Frazier, just so you guys don't think I'm nuts. This is from Yahoo. But this is from May 14th, 2019. 8 men pulled up to the Indianapolis home of Colts assistant coach Parks Frazier and fired more than 80 shots into the house on Sunday, according to the police. Police told this TV network, RTV6, that they are searching for 8 young male suspects who arrived in 3 cars and left the street littered with shell casings from at least 5 rifles and handguns. The incident happened around 6 p.m. Again, nobody was home. One witness said, I heard like 15 boom, 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 booms. Again, nobody was hurt. Thank goodness gracious. Anyway. Now, did you notice this about Howie Roseman? I don't know if I can pause this. Let me see.
I'm not going to talk about anyone under contract with another team. I think
I can't. Anyway, you notice his head? Actually, I think it was over here. I think it was the left side of his head where he took the beer can. Let the record show Howie's a fast healer. Howie's a fast healer. And I was worried he might be concussed or something for the combine. He might start looking up players that aren't there. I don't know. But Howie did talk about the parade yesterday at the combine, talked about the parade.
Afterwards, I did survive the parade right here. And afterwards, I felt like we have an unbelievable fan base that we get millions of people to sit and cheer in 25-degree weather and root for our football team. The head's better. It's better. I'm a little less handsome than I was a couple of weeks ago, but I'm not sure I had a lot to go there anyways.
So Howie bounced back. He would return. He's a warrior. He's a hockey player. Anyway, look forward to the combine and all that stuff, and getting to watch guys just run sprints and cone drills and all that good stuff. As far as, hey, I just mentioned hockey players. I have to mention this. I got to mention the Flyers, the hottest team in Philadelphia right now. 15 goals in their last 3 games. Not too bad. They have won 3 in a row, and last night they absolutely stomped the Pittsburgh Penguins 6-1. That was after stomping the Edmonton Oilers 6-3, and that was before beating the Pittsburgh Penguins again. It's played them twice in 3 games. But they got them again tomorrow night, 3-2. So after the Flyers went through quite the stretch, it was 1, 2, 3 games where they didn't score a goal. They now have bounced back a little bit with 15 goals. Good to see that for the Flyers. By the way, they improved to 26, 26, and 7 on the season. So that was fun. The Eagles are fun. The Philadelphia 76ers are not fun. And I got to mention this about Joel Embiid. If you haven't seen this story, it was from Philadelphia Inquirer, Marcus Hayes, who spoke to doctors about what they could do with Joel Embiid. Doctors with whom the Inquirer spoke over the past weeks say some of these procedures require 6 months to a year before an athlete can return to full action, and they can, and that any return will invariably come with long-term limitations. The original recovery plan required the superstar big man to adjust to playing in pain, including regularly draining his knee and injecting it with platelet-rich plasma, PRP. As stated in a report, the 76ers medical staff considered the best way for Embiid to rehabilitate the injury for the long term. Once it reached a certain point of healing, resting the knee would not help. So one of the processes involves, I think, breaking off part of the hip bone and putting it in his knee to relieve pressure. Embiid's done. And I'll also tell you this. I started watching, is it Gold on the Court or Golden Court, Gold Court, whatever it's called, the Netflix special on the most recent United States men's basketball team that won gold in Paris. Embiid's in, I only watched the first episode and a little bit more than that, but Embiid's in it. And as I'm watching him, he's like talking to Obama. Oh, yeah, it looks like the Eagles are going to go to the White House now for the people that care. Like Obama's in it, and he's talking to Embiid. Embiid just has this like boyish smile on his face. Anthony Edwards is cold-blooded, man. I'll say that. But I'm just looking at Embiid, and I'm like, maybe it's just because this is my initial thought, and you guys have heard my theory on this. He wanted to play on that team so he could win some sort of basketball championship. And yeah, sure, a gold medal is pretty baller. And if you're, he talks about how much he wants to play hard and have a good legacy for his son Arthur and all that. And that's a beautiful thing. I mean, I think every man, any parent, when you become a parent, you want to be the best version of yourself for your kid. That's beautiful. Okay. But I think he also knows that he's done. And he's going to try to hang on and make money and be available in the NBA, and that's good too. But I think he looked at the Olympics as his last hurrah. And now you're getting reports from doctors that aren't treating Joel Embiid, but believe that the procedures that are left for him to do are last resorts. They're not miracles. They're not fountain of youth procedures. It's just managing an injury that ain't getting better. And I don't mean to be crude. I don't mean to be crass, but I have friends in the medical field that have described things to me this similarly, in a similar way to duct tape. You have a favorite toy as a kid, you duct tape it together, you tape it together, whatever you do. And then sooner or later, that toy's just broke. And there's no amount of duct tape or anything like that can keep it together. Gaffer's tape. I recommend Gaffer's tape, by the way. It's done. And you're back to video games. But yeah, that's unfortunately how I see things going down for Joel Embiid. Sixers, by the way, against the Knicks tonight. Are we I feel like I need to do a panda watch on Joel Embiid as to when the Sixers are just going to shut him down. And I would really love to ban the word process from the land. I really want to ban that. Anyway, that's what's going on with your Sixers. But hey, the Eagles won the Super Bowl, so that makes me feel a lot better about everything else. Last thing on the Eagles, and really does have to do with Joel Embiid, and this is just an excuse to play Vic Fangio. But every day the Sixers don't announce. Every day the Sixers don't announce Joel Embiid, and they just say he's out for one particular game at a time. Here's my response. Ugh. Thank you. Let me tell you about the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Want to go to the game? Want to go to the concert? Want to go to the comedy show? The Game Time app has you covered. And also, Game Time Picks is fantastic. When you download the Game Time app and you create an account, and with your first purchase, save $20 with promo code Farzy. You can also use the Game Time Picks feature, which gets right down to it. The best seats at the best prices with Game Time Picks. With Game Time app, you can view your seat. You can actually see the vantage point of your seat before you buy it. And the Game Time guarantee. If you find tickets in the same section, same row for less money elsewhere, Game Time app will get you back at 110% of the difference on the Game Time app. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. How about Sky Motorcars? SkyMotorcars.com. Check out Brett's amazing inventory at SkyMotorcars.com. Sorry, one last thing. The Penguins lost to the Flyers last night. Yeah, 6-1. After the game, do you think the Penguins players were like,
take away the scoreboard?
Thank you. Sorry, I had one more. I hadn't played that in a while. Let's get into the chat check and see how you wonderful people are doing on this fine Wednesday. It's Wednesday already, people. It's Wednesday. Ted, hello. April. Sean, what's going on? Locked Daper. Yo, Farzy, what up? What up, Locked Daper? Dapper. Sorry. Doing all that crying about a play. Everybody can't run. I know, right? Wayne the Pain, whining about a play you can't stop. Oh, poor baby, go away. Right? Why not as well? Good morning, Farzy and friends. Howie season full effect. Go Rosemans. Barkley, what a season. Again, I rattled these off for the first 2 minutes of the show. I don't know. Saquon Barkley, 482 touches this past season. 345 carries in the regular season, 91 carries in the postseason, 33 receptions regular season, 13 receptions postseason. For, again, 482 touches for 2,857 yards and 20 touchdowns. 20 touchdowns. That's pretty good. That's pretty damn good. Almost, technically, it's 5.9 yards per touch. That's pretty good. Sean Kilrain, when Jordan Mailata's contract with the Eagles expires, it will have to be 30 consecutive years of either Trey Thomas, Jason Peters, or Jordan Mailata starting at left tackle. Wow. How about Jason Peters calling it a career? That guy. People talk about, it's sad when an athlete hangs on and plays. Really? They're doing what they love to do. I think that's awesome. Good for them. And he immediately got hired by the Seahawks as a veteran, an offensive veteran advisor, I think is the title. Yeah, right. Whatever. But that's pretty awesome. And that is pretty incredible. My man, Trey Thomas. What a hell of a season for Barkley. DJ Interactive 2013. Yeah, you're right. Eric Wisniewski, what's going on, man? Wonder if the Eagles defense can stop Tush Push. Oh. I bet you Jalen Carter could stop it. Ted Cromwell facts. I'm sure they were at that point in the show. April, all these teams complaining, line them up against the Eagles defense and see how automatic it is. These coaches sound like a bunch of bitches. That's great, April. Anthony Barr. It was Anthony Barr. Thank you, Sean Kilder. Anthony Barr. Talking about the Tush Push. Thank you. Tallest heavy offensive line in football, says Bob. Only thing the NFL can do is go backwards and make pushing ball carrier illegal again. Like, here's my thing on people that say it's not a football play. Like, it's a rugby play. It is a football play. But what's interesting about it, it forces a situation that's legal. So I brought up the situation yesterday to be more clear. Running back runs to the outside. Defensive player gets up to make the tackle. Another defensive player comes up to wrap up, try to make the tackle. Another defensive player. While that pile is happening, offensive players can come up and push the pile. So what the tush push does is create that situation, but at the line of scrimmage. So basically, Jalen Hurts is running a quarterback sneak. The pile on starts, and you start to push. Or the pile starts, and you start to push the pile. That's legal. And that's what the tush push does. It purposefully creates that football play. It's genius when you think about it. Very simple. Weighing the pain. Howie won some street cred in the parade with the parade war wound. Howie season. He absolutely had some street cred there. Bob, is it a football move? Not really. Oh, okay, so that goes to just what I was saying. But learn how to stop it. So, yeah, you agree that it is a football play. I mean, football move, I don't know. But football play, I think you mean. Yeah, it is, but it creates the football play that's legal. And it does nothing illegal en route to it. It just creates that instance. Bond has to come back priority number one. I agree, says Bob. Weighing the pain. Howie took one for the team, literally. K. Raleigh. What's up, Crowley? What's going on, man? Don't think Bond will be back. Howie's comments yesterday worry me a bit. I had the opposite feeling. I feel like he's the number one guy, and Howie's going to get him. I think he was basically telling us he's not playing or paying Bond $17 million a year. I think he was telling us he's not going to pay Josh Sweat, and he might not pay Mekhi Becton. Sean Kilrain, sustainability. The Philadelphia Eagles had the 6th youngest roster in NFL history to win a Super Bowl. The average age of players, 26 years and 220 days. How about that? I have a cousin who's a cousin-in-law who's a Dolphins fan. I saw him over the weekend, and he was like, Vic Fangio worked out for you guys. And I'm like, yeah, how about that? And he went with the veteran theory, and I agree with the theory that you have veterans in Miami that don't want to do what Vic's saying. Meanwhile, you got guys in Philly that are young, as Sean Kilrain's putting out here, and he's like, they're like, yeah, we'll follow coach. Like, Jalen Hunt's a rookie, and he gets Vic Fangio as his rookie defensive coordinator. And he's like, yo, Vic lays it down, man. Vic lays it down. It's fascinating. Young guys will admire that. Older guys will tell you, I don't need you to tell me how to work hard. Think about it, Farzy. Myles Garrett and Jalen Carter would be the most. Oh, I know. Simeon Rice and Warren Sapp. Wow, Simeon Rice. Wow. I think if memory serves me correctly, Trey Thomas would say that Simeon Rice was the guy he hated facing the most. I think that's right. James Alexander the third. What's going on? Good morning, Myles Garrett, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, best defensive line in the league. Is anyone else not like? I like Jordan Davis. I root for Jordan Davis, but I don't look at Jordan Davis as a dominant player. He still has to play more than 23% of the snaps. I don't even know what he played in the Super Bowl. Top of my head. Bob, Howie paid Huff. Ooh. How much? And sucks. So this is a slam dunk re-sign at any price. Wasn't it amazing seeing a linebacker make a play on the team? I know, right? Bob, unpopular opinion, Kelsey wasn't missed with Cam. Unpopular opinion? Yeah. Just because it puts Kelsey in the negative, but how about instead of opinion, acknowledgement? Acknowledged. that Kelsey wasn't missed. I mean, you won a Super Bowl. How missed could you be? And that's nothing against him. It's just his team did awesome. AJ loves the offense. Yes, he does. He talked about how he's already been involved in calling the plays and all that. How about that? Ari! What's going on, man? 4 a.m. Can't sleep out there on the left coast? Nice to have you. Brian, what's popping? Eagles Nest saying hi to Crawley. Eagles Nest, but I think we would adjust linebacker in the draft if we lose Bond. Probably. Say Sean Barkley. I'm sorry, Sean Kilrange. Say Sean Barkley. Oh, that's the other one. Milton Williams. Thank you. I knew I was missing somebody. C-Love, thank you. Milton Williams, I think, could be back. I think there's a better chance of Milton Williams re-signing. If I could only sign 4 guys, if I could only sign 2 of the 4 guys, it would be Zach Bond and Milton Williams. Back then, I'd let walk. Josh Sweat, I'd let walk. I'd want to see Becton. Josh Sweat, I don't really, whatever to me. My only thought during the Super Bowl is, yeah, he's having a great game, but if it's only going to make things more difficult in the offseason to explain to people why you just don't. I don't really value Josh Sweat. He's a good player, but he's not someone that I'm going to choose over Milton Williams or choose over Zach Bond. What's going on? Cleveland trying to trade for Stafford now. So okay. Jermaine Brown, Howie, real life Wolverine. Embiid should just retire. I hope that would help. Put a fork in Embiid. He's done. Time to rebuild the Sixers. Exit Milton Williams and enter Moro Ajomo. Or a rookie draft pick. I think it goes without saying the Eagles are going to draft an edge. They could Mrs. Salmon, they could 3D print a new knee for Embiid. That's funny. Snooski, hello. Jonathan Harvey. Not polite to put down anyone or refer to anyone with a negative word, but Embiid plays basketball like an idiot. Refused to play near the rim. Oh, I forgot the NBA has everyone on the three-point area. Yeah, right. Oh, R. Anthony, what do you got here? Bond stays, Becton's out, Steen is cheaper. Yep. Williams and Sweat gone. Yeah, I think Williams has a better chance of staying than Josh Sweat. Jonathan Harvey. Sixers need to move to Camden, New Jersey. A new Philly basketball team is needed. Oh, that'd be great. The Sixers become the Camden Sixers, and then Philadelphia gets a new team. Oh, that'd be amazing. And then, you know what? Both basketball teams should build a stadium downtown. That'd be fun. I kid. Anyway, thanks everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful as per usual. Let's get to the morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. As I mentioned, the Flyers are back at it tomorrow night. This one in Pittsburgh, 7:30 puck drop against the Penguins. The Sixers play the Knicks tonight. Sorry to inform you. But yours truly will be on Locked On Sports Philadelphia right after the game. It'll be a nationally televised game, so hopefully the Sixers don't suck. 7 o'clock tonight at Madison Square Garden. I'll be on Locked On Sports Philadelphia, breaking it all down for you guys after that. Stay tuned for Birds 365 coming up on the Jacob Media YouTube channel. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Farsi Show YouTube channel. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Jacob Media YouTube channel. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. See you guys tonight. Bye-bye.